Hello, this is Mark Bassingthwaite. I'm the risk manager with ALPS, and welcome to the latest episode of our podcast, ALPS in Brief, the podcast that comes to you from the historic Florence Building in beautiful downtown Missoula, Montana. And I'm really excited about our guest today. For a number of years, I've known Nancy Hinckley, and she is the receptionist here at ALPS. Been here for quite some time. And I will tell you why we're going to have a conversation in just a few minutes. But Nancy, before we jump into everything, can you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, Mark, first of all, for having me here.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me. Well, I've actually been here 18 years. And I know some people, they go into the business of receptionist with their foot in the door, going to another position. Yes. But, I love the job. I love the people. It's fun. Yeah. It's a fun job. And I feel that I've turned it into something more. So that's why I'm still there.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree with you more. And that's really why I wanted to visit with you today. To those of you that are listening in, some of you may be ALPS insured, some of you not. But for those folks that are ALPS insured, if you've ever called into the office over the last 18 years, I'm sure you've spoken with Nancy. And really, Nancy is a very significant personality here at ALPS. In my mind, very much, if you will, the voice of the company in so many ways. And I thought it would just be great fun to have people that have spoken with you over the years, and hopefully and many more that will in future, just to get a chance to hear a little bit about you. I just find you're such a joy in terms of the company. So initially, Nancy, I like what you've been here 18 years, and I absolutely agree, in terms of acknowledging that sort of receptionist positions at times, people have one foot in the door and one foot out the door. But you've taken this to a different level. I mean, you really are somebody that all of us here at ALPS just view as a key personality that helps set just the tone of the company.
Yes.
What is it that keeps you just energetic, and
keeps me energetic.
Yeah.
God blesses us with talents, and mine ain't cooking. And I say I was hired for my looks, evidently. And so I figured that mine must have been laughter. I think of funny things to say. Things pop in my head, things happen to me at home, and all of a sudden I'm like wording it in a paragraph because I do this morning email. And someone told me one time I should be a comedy writer, and I thought that was a very lovely thing to say. I don't know, it just comes to me naturally, so I enjoy that.
Yeah. It makes such a difference here. I even share, I don't know if you know this, for those listening, I am very blessed to be able to telecommute now for all kinds of reasons. But so I am still included in all of these office emails that we all get. But my wife has come to enjoy your humor, and I'll share these things with her in the morning. She just gets such a kick out of the crazy things that you come up with. But,
well, like Johnny Carson, you kind of get like a lull, and then you have to come back. So,
yeah. One of the other aspects, we've been talking a little bit about the public voice, but there is this internal voice as well. I guess maybe can you share a little bit about why is humor important to you? Is that,
Well, I can give you a good example is that my mother is now living with us.
Yes.
Yay! Well, yay, it's a good thing. And people back in my home state of Georgia didn't even think she was going to make the plane trip, and she did. And I was like, why me, God? What can I offer? And I've been making her laugh. She's been doing a lot better. She looks really good. And I even confessed to her that I actually looked into clown school one time, right when I graduated high school. Yes, and I was a clown for a day. But my husband made me quit. He said he didn't want to introduce me. Hey, this is my wife, the clown. Hey, clown, get over here.
Yeah.
So, but humor does help with a lot of things. It helps with the phone calls when I'm from Georgia.
Yes.
My husband's from Rhode Island. We met in the service. I have a niece that's an attorney. So I have actually talked to a lot of people, when they call and if someone's not available or if I can't help them at that moment, I kind of break the ice with that. Hey, I'm from, a lot of callers from South Carolina. Hey, I'm from Georgia. And all of a sudden we're best friends.
Right.
And I had one person that knew my niece in Rhode Island. I had people that have knew some friends back in Idaho. Oh, I can give you their address. And so you just start talking, and that's how I break the ice with people. And
do you get some calls at times where people are curmudgeon-y, for lack of a better word? It's just, and what I'm hearing is, this is a way to manage and calm people down, perhaps? Do you use the tool in that way?
I think, 18 years, I probably had maybe 3 callers that weren't the nicest.
Yeah.
The first one, I did try to she was very upset, and I did try to give a little laugh in there, not meaning to laugh, but just trying to okay, let me just, and she said, I know you think it's funny, but, we did get through that, and I did get her to someone to help her, but, it kind of didn't work at first, but,
Yeah. What I like about this in terms of my own role here at ALPS, I obviously do a lot of consulting and work on the preventative side, and what I love about you and the skill set that you bring, and I think so many of us can learn from, is the value of humor as a way to kind of manage relationships, and
Yes.
I think particularly in terms of law, at times, when people are working with lawyers, a lot of the time, this isn't the happiest time in their life, if it's litigation, divorce, bankruptcy, these kinds of things. But I love how you use it as a way to really bridge a communication gap for perhaps,
Yes.
I feel like, even when I come over, I get a big warm hug and these kinds of things. It's just, you create personal relationships. And I think the humor is one way to let people know, I value getting to know you. I value, and you do it in a way that very casually shares information. So if you expose a little bit about yourself, it says, I'm investing in you.
Right.
And again, the fact that this happens at both the professional level in terms of what you do with our insureds, but also in the personal level internally. And to me, I think the word I've been hunting for throughout this whole conversation is, you are a person that defines or helps define our corporate culture. And so I encourage all of you out there listening, to just, in my mind, Nancy is very much a role model in terms of how to just manage and create personal relationships, and how that can really make a significant difference.
Yeah.
I assure you, folks, that Nancy has done some incredible things here for us internally. Nancy, are there any other things you'd like to share? Some thoughts?
As you were speaking, and thank you very much for your compliments. You can't use humor all the time, especially when attorneys call in they're upset or whatever.
Right.
But if no one is available, there has been times, if they're with a meeting or with someone or whatever. I think it's also the tone that you use in your voice. Mm-hmm. I offer to take your name and number, repeat everything, and I'll make sure that they get the message, reassure them. They appreciate that. You can tell that it calms them down a little bit. They, to me, respond as, wow, I got this message to a person I know that will relay the message. And so I feel confident about that. And it also helps with my personal relationships. I'm a grandmother now.
Yes.
Yay. 2 grandkids, 13 and 8.
Yes.
And I'm trying to teach them, because I help with them quite a bit. I'm trying to teach them to, not take life so seriously and just calm down and, look at it other ways if a problem arises, so that, they can just not be rushed into an answer, not be angered by something, but let's think about this. And this could have happened, but it didn't. This happened, blah, blah, blah,
Well, again, in terms of how you've impacted me over the years, one of my, for lack of a better, sort of takeaways is, life is just too short to get all hot and bothered about certain things. It's just, and then I take that even further and say at times, I need to remember that my day, my week, or even how I view myself as a person is not defined by the circumstances that I'm currently dealing with. They're defined by how I respond to them and who I am. It's about character. Right. And, you just, you do that well.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Nancy, it's been a pleasure, and I really do appreciate your taking a little time to sit down and visit with myself and our listeners. To those of you out there that listening to this podcast, I hope you enjoyed a little time to get to know Nancy. And if you ever call in, you might ask, who am I talking to? Because we do have some part-time receptionists, and it's not always Nancy, but if you have the honor and the privilege to speak with her, give her a warm hello, and I guarantee you won't regret it. So that's it for our podcast today. If any of you have any ideas of topics you'd like to hear on or hear us discuss in the future, or have any speakers or companies you'd like us to try to visit with, please reach out and let me know. My email address is mbass@alpsnet.com. That's it. Thanks again, Nancy.
Thank you, Mark.
You bet. Bye-bye.